Cue the heavens opening and heavenly music. Please, Andy, bring it on. I have discovered the world's best diet and want to share this with all of you today. Really feel like I should have some kind of halo floating going on. Yeah. So I know you're thinking, but Sherry, didn't you write Return to Food, the life-changing anti-diet? Yes, I did write that. And I'm totally going against, no, I'm not going against everything I said. I want you to remember something around the whole diet industry. The diet industry deals with this piece of how we actually function as humans. This is the tip of the iceberg, right? Diet, exercise, that's the tip. Anything underneath is the mental, emotional, and spiritual reasons, as well as even some of the physiological reasons why we're driven to eat what we eat. Okay, so diets don't work. We know they have a 95% failure rate, but there is one diet that works above all of them. Now you might be wondering, is it vegan? Is it vegetarian? Is it paleo? Is it keto? Is it the Samoyed dog diet from the Arctic? Is it the pelican diet? No, of course, I'm being ridiculous and crazy. There is no one diet that works. And in fact, biodiversity, sustainability of the planet depends on us not all eating the same thing. And what I noticed very early on when I was studying nutrition is that it didn't matter where you were in the world. You could have vastly different diets and different ways that you ate and still be healthy. You could also be in a place where you had the most elaborate resources and all the food that you needed to be healthy, and people could still be unhealthy. So the Arctic Inuit, where traditionally they were eating 80% of their diet was seal blubber, okay? If you look at their disease rates before the introduction of processed food, they're actually better than a lot of people who have access to the full range of anything that makes us healthy. So what I started to learn as I was studying all the different diets, and a book called The Hungry Planet, What the World Eats by Faith DeLuzio and Peter Menzel. They're a photojournalist couple who went around the world. You may have seen their pictures in Time magazine that went viral around the net. But what they did was they went to families around the world and had them take a picture, a snapshot of everything that they bought in 1 week. And the stark kind of message that came through it that was really obvious is that the families in the countries with the most processed food had the highest incidence of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cancer. Okay, so the families that had the least amount of processed foods, even if they were in places where food was extremely limited, like refugee camps in Chad and Africa, actually had less lifestyle diseases than those who sent their kids to private schools. So the best diet in the world is the one that actually works within food that is seasonal, local, organic, and whole. And that diet is actually implemented in a social structure where people have great social connection. They actually move their bodies. They actually are doing something meaningful and purposeful in life. It doesn't have to be dramatic or what our kind of modern view of success is, but all of those combinations and factors together make for the healthiest diet in the world. So it doesn't matter what you're doing as far as the actual name of your diet. Any one of those diets can be unhealthy if you include processed foods and processed versions of the foods that you're actually choosing. The other thing that's really big is not only are we eating too many unnatural foods, we're eating too many natural foods unnaturally, in unnatural amounts. So no matter what diet that you choose, if you're having meat in the amount that you would never source and kill in nature, right? It's completely unsustainable. Not only that, if you're having meat from factory farms where that animal has basically been fed an unnatural diet, it's being treated unnaturally, to say the least, and in many instances cruelly, and it lives a life of fear, you're eating what you eats. Okay, then if you start to eat it in unnatural amounts, think about it. The typical hunter-gatherer culture ate 11 to 15 plant species to every animal species, okay? When they did have an animal species, they ate it in the hierarchy of what was most easily obtained in nature. So we're talking from insects to rodents to fish to bird life, and then into bigger mammals. Because contrary to public opinion, it might be easy to kill a cow, but breaking it down and then actually dealing with all of the pieces of it was a complex tribal thing that wasn't done every single day of the week. And they certainly didn't have people having eye fillet steak every night of the week. Imagine the tribe, how many animals they'd have to kill for people to eat meat in that way. So there's a very unnatural way in which we're approaching it, and not just talking about meat, but even plant foods, where we're starting to fly things from all over the world, tropical fruits, eating them in the winter. You know, there's all kinds of ways that we can actually think we're eating naturally, and we're actually eating unnaturally. So the world's best diet, this is what it is. It's eating something that you would actually source in nature by how easily it's obtained in nature. So that which is most abundant, we're meant to have most of. Okay, air, water, vegetation, there's a hierarchy. What is most available is best for us. Vegetation even has a hierarchy. We have way more vegetable species than fruit species, okay? Vegetable species are much more readily available seasonally. Fruit species, less available. There's a time in which they are actually grown to maturity and then ripened, and fruit actually ripens on the tree, with the exception of things like avocados, okay? And most of the nutrients are actually infused into the fruit in the ripening process, okay? So it's nature's way of saying, eat lots of this before you have this. The bottom line is that nature is infinitely wise, and it's figured out a way that we can eat all over the planet. What we've done is, in our search for convenience and expedience, and also because we're addicted to the things that are harder to find in nature, nature makes us work harder for them, which creates a balance in nature. But in the supermarket, it's the other way around. So we've got these strong physiological desires for the fats, sugars, the salts, you know, the meat. But now we no longer have to work hard for them, and so we no longer have a natural relationship with it, understanding what it is we're meant to be eating. The best diet in the world is seasonal, local, organic, and whole. It's finding food that grows around you and eating it when it's in season. And one of the best ways we can actually reconnect to nature and the best diet in the world is to get out to a farmer's market and see what is actually grown in season. And then you can start to use your wonderful recipes to make it taste good. And the great thing about having it where it's from the farmer's market is because it's so fresh, because it's grown well, you don't have to do a lot to make it taste good. And most importantly, it's going to give lots of nutrients to your body. And you're going to start to realize that when you have truly nourishing food, you don't need volumes of food. And when you share that food with people who are kind, loving, positive, people you respect and have great conversations with it, it takes less to actually satisfy and satiate you, because you're having a much more holistic experience around what you're eating. Remember, how we eat is as powerful as what we eat. And the best diet in the world incorporates a social context in which we eat, and so we share a meal with another person. There's not just one way to eat on the planet. And I'll say it again, biodiversity of the planet depends on us not all eating the same thing. So, the best diet in the world, well, it's nature's diet. We just have to respect and listen to nature. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up and like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with people you care about that can benefit from this, and join our incredibly supportive Facebook group. And lastly, if you're looking to get sugar-free naturally, follow the links below and find out more about the Sweet Freedom online program.